So hey, welcome everybody to the 100K Tree Day teleconference. I'm going to keep this as brief as possible, but we probably need a good half hour. Depends on how wordy and lengthy I get in my delivery. But I want to say thank you. My name is Jeff Barrie. I'm the Director of Sustainable Tennessee at the Tennessee Environmental Council. Our mission is to educate and advocate for the improvement and conservation of Tennessee's environment, communities, and public health. A nonprofit. We've been around since 1970, and I have here Cynthia Hernandez from Tennessee Environmental Council as well. And I want to say thank you to all of you for the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation for your involvement in this, because this is a big undertaking and we realize there's a lot of moving parts. We've learned a lot in doing this for the past 2 years with the 50K Tree Days, and we feel confident enough to double that number. That's why we're doing a 100K Tree Day. With a little bit more organization on the front end, we know we can make this a smooth operation. So thank you all for paying attention, for being here, and for your help in the coming weeks as this program rolls out. We are recording this as well. I have my camera over there, and I will post it on YouTube for the Forestry Department or anybody else who needs to see this presentation who misses it today. And if you missed it or you missed a detail and you want to watch it back, I will send that link out to everybody. The information I shared today, as much of it as possible, I'm going to send out by email tomorrow so that you will have it in front of you. But take notes on anything that you feel is really important for you to remember. But I will be sending you out at least the bullet points of our conversation today. I want to start by, and feel free to ask any questions along the way, because when you have that, what's that question? When you have that question in your mind, that's the best time to ask it. So however you need to interrupt me, go ahead and do that. The overall, I want to start with the calendar of events and how this is going to unfold in the next 2 weeks. We're actually 3 weeks. 100K Tree Day is 3 weeks from this past weekend. So we're under 3 weeks to game time. As John McFadden, our CEO, would say, this is the Super Bowl of the environmental environment in Tennessee. So we'll claim that for ourselves. We may not have quite as big of a TV viewing audience, but I think the work is just as important. So on Thursday and Friday, February 16 and 17 is the first date that is important. And again, this whole list of dates I'm going to send you as well. But the 16th and 17th is when the first batch of trees are arriving from the nursery in Missouri, the Missouri Department of Conservation. We ordered 40,000 of our trees from them. They just weren't available at Delano this year. So that includes the American plum and the what's the other one? The redbuds. Thank you, Cynthia. So those will be arriving on Thursday or Friday, the 16th or 17th. That's a week from this Thursday and Friday. Sunday is the 19th of February. A week from this Sunday is when the registration will close for people to order their trees that want to plant trees and get free trees. The next day, Monday the 20th, we're going to be crunching all the numbers and getting all the distribution lists ready for you all, so that you know how many distributors are coming to you, how many trees you're going to be receiving, and how many trees and how many customers you're going to be servicing later in the week. On Tuesday the 21st and Wednesday the 22nd is when the trees will arrive from Delano, the 60,000, obviously divided among the 8 offices, the 8 TDEC offices. And the numbers, we have a really good idea of how many trees you each will receive. In fact, we know how many trees each of you are going to receive. We had to figure that out based on our demand so far this year. And so I will send those numbers out this week to each of you, so you know how many trees you're receiving from Missouri and how many you're receiving from Delano. And that's an important number to pay attention to, as you will find out in just a few moments here. So that you'll be receiving Delano trees Tuesday and Wednesday, the 21st and 22nd. Wednesday afternoon on the 22nd is when we would recommend that you divide those trees up, so between 12 and 5, because we're going to be soliciting help from volunteers in your community to come to your TDEC office on Wednesday afternoon, February 22nd, from noon until 5. And you will have a few volunteers that can help too, because you're going to be taking those, let's say, I won't pick on Nashville because you have the biggest number. I don't want to scare anybody away with those really big numbers yet. But it looks like, let's say, Cookeville, you're going to be getting about 7,000 trees, between 7,000 and 8,000 trees total from Delano and Missouri. And it's a 60-40 split. And so you're going to take 8,000 trees and divide it into the batch that each distributor is going to get. And Cookeville, you have 14 distributors coming to pick up trees from you on Thursday the 23rd. So and that the same case is for all the distributors. The timing's the same, although the number of distributors picking up from you is going to vary. Memphis and Johnson City have 8 distributors picking up trees on Thursday. Nashville has 30.
So 30 people will be coming here?
On Thursday, yes.
Okay.
And those are the when I say distributors, I mean people that have volunteered from UT Ag Extension, from your offices, and from churches and other organizations, and electric co-ops have volunteered their staff to do this as well. They're picking up trees from you all, anywhere from 100 to 1,000 trees, and they're taking those trees back to their community and setting up a local distribution spot, so people don't have to drive so far to pick up their trees. The participants can have a shorter commute, and those are the distributors. You all are regional distributors. So on Wednesday afternoon is when you need to be dividing the trees that come from the nursery into the packages for each distributor. I'll give you more instructions on that momentarily. Friday the 24th, so Thursday the 23rd is when distributors come to you and pick up their big packages of trees. They're still going to be in big bags primarily, and some smaller packages. Friday the 24th is when the public will be coming to pick up their trees in small packages of 5 trees up to 100. Some of them, we on a limited basis, we offered larger quantities for certain churches and others that wanted to do a bigger tree planting event, but most of the packages will be in the 5 to 20 tree range. And so that's Friday 9 to 5, and then Saturday 9 to 11 at certain locations. I know, Brooke, you committed Nashville to be open Saturday morning 9 to 11, which is...
because that's I'll be. I said I
yeah.
Yeah, Jen's like, what?
And we're sending volunteers to help you out as well.
Okay, good.
So you have
we are
a small crew.
Okay.
And that's up to each of you. All that information has already been determined. It's on our website. By the way, if you ever want to, I would encourage you all to review our website at any time between now and as you receive information from us. It's tectn.org/100K Tree Day. And the K is just the letter K. tectn.org/100K Tree Day. I'll send that out in the information tomorrow as well. And so Friday and Saturday is the day when people come pick up their trees to plant. Small packages of 5 to 20 trees mostly. And then Saturday is planting day, 100K Tree Day. So in the morning, some people will still want to pick their trees, and then they'll be planting them that day. And then the couple weeks after that, we're going to be gathering all the pictures of all the happy people, their families and volunteers planting those trees. It is phenomenal. We had about 300 pictures from people across the state last year, and to see them all aggregated, all these photos, is really inspiring and heartwarming. So that's the rundown of the calendar of events. And I'm going to go back and talk about a few of the key events that are really important to discuss. To make this a success, we learned in the last 2 years that if we do things a certain way on the front end, it will avoid the mayhem on the back end. The back end being the day when people come to pick up their trees. So we have more distributors in more communities this year than ever before. So the distribution is more geographically diffused. And that means less work for any one distributor, even though we're doubling the number of trees. So when the trees arrive from Missouri on Friday the 17th, you're not going to divide those up. All you're going to do at this point is take the trees off the truck and put them in whatever storage place you have designated for the trees. Cool and dark. They're all wrapped. They can last in these wrapped bags from the nursery a couple weeks. and they're fine. So you're not going to open any bags when they come from Missouri on Friday, February 17th. On Tuesday and Wednesday, the 21st and 22nd, when those trees arrive from Delano, then you'll put those trees, in both cases, when the trees come and you take them off the truck, it's very important that you put them in clusters based on the species. We have 5 different species of trees, if you don't know this already. We have Shumard oak, which is a red oak, red bud, yellow poplar, tulip poplar, our state tree, American plum, which is the wild plum, and the Virginia pine. And we have pictures up here of all of these. I know the resolution's not that high on this video monitor here, but
There's no tulip poplar.
what?
There's no tulip poplar.
We don't have the tulip poplar here. That's why there's only 4 pictures there, 4 cards. But those are the 5 species you will be receiving. And it's going to be really helpful when the trees arrive from the nursery that you count and make sure that you've got the right amount. And that's the first chance you have to correct any problems. We found one of the biggest problems we have is when people are scrambling to get their trees from the public. They signed up for all these free trees. They're so excited to receive these trees. And for some reason, we didn't get enough, or we gave too many to certain people. So certain people just don't get their trees. And we don't want that to happen. We want everybody that signed up to get their trees. And we can't guarantee 100% we won't make any mistakes. But the first chance to make it right is when the trees come off the truck. Make sure you got the right quantity. And they're in bags of 100. And except for the Virginia pine, which come in bags of 500. So you'll have a chance to do quick math and look at the sheet we're going to send you that tells you how many trees you're receiving. And then the same thing on Tuesday/Wednesday when you get the other batch, the 60% of your order from Delano. When the trees come off the truck, make sure you got the right quantity, and then take those bags of trees and put them in 5 zones on your property, wherever you're storing them, based on their species. Put all the red buds together, etc. Wednesday afternoon is when we recommend that you divide the trees up based on the distributors that are going to be coming. And all this will be more clear when you receive the information from us. We will send you the breakdown of all the distributors. Probably by the end of this week we can get that to you. So you will know the name of the distributor picking the trees up from you, as well as how many trees they're getting. And so you're going to take all the trees. Let's say Cookeville has 8,000. I'm going to use a number like 10,000 because that's 2,000 of each species. And they're each in their own zone. And you're going to break those bags open. Some distributors will get enough trees to where you will give them entire bags of trees. So let's say the state park has 500 trees. That means 5 bags of 100. And they come in bags of 100 from the nursery. So for that distributor, you would not have to open any trees and do any sorting or anything like that. Except for the Virginia pine, you're going to have to open that bag of 500, and you're going to have to count out as closely to accurate as possible 100 trees. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, until you get 100 of those pines, and put them in you're going to have a plastic bag set up. We recommend a trash bag, or grocery bags are probably not going to be big enough for the pines. So we will send you, or you could also use an umbrella bag. They work pretty well, but a plastic bag so that those roots will stay airtight, more or less, and moist. And then just put all the Virginia pine, the 100 Virginia pines in this case, into a trash bag. And then you take all those trees, the 100 of each species, so there's going to be 5 bags of 100 each, and label them right on their bag with a Sharpie. We recommend a black Sharpie. Or you can get a white paint Sharpie to write on a black plastic bag if you need to. Or you can get a roll of this labeling tape, and we will send you a roll of this. We're going to send you a package of things next week, a kit that you're going to need of the essential supplies. And you can just tear this off with your hands, this plastic tape, and you can write right on there the name of that distributor, let's say it's John Doe. And so that you will know, you will have all those trees broken into clumps based on how many that distributor is getting. Is that all clear by a show of hands or nods? Yes, that's a yes right over there, and yeah, excellent. And I think it's harder to even use words to describe this process than the actual process itself. I think it's going to be really easy, really clear that you're going to basically break all these trees into groups with a specific number for each distributor. And those numbers, you will have them well in advance. It's just a matter of how you package them, and make sure you package them well, because we got to take care of these seedlings. We want them to stay cool and moist until they're in the ground. And you are a critical transition point in that whole process. And there will be some distributors that only get 30 or 40 trees, and some will get 1,200 or maybe even 1,350. So it's very important that you give them exactly the number of seedlings. These are all seedlings. They're small. Here's an example of, this is about how big these seedlings will be. I'll move it around a little bit so you can see, given the background. This is probably an oak. The oaks, I think, will be bigger. The poplars will be bigger seedlings. The red buds will probably be the smaller ones. I think the plums will be smaller. But it's very important to give them as close to accurate, hopefully 100% accurate number of seedlings, because there's a lot of stems there. So it's going to take a lot of, when you're breaking it down into, let's say, 20 Virginia pines or 20 redbuds, you're going to have to open that big bag and pull out 20 specifically, and then cover them up. It's one of the most important steps is when you're not actually taking the trees out, make sure that bag, even if it's only for a minute, that you cover that bag up again. You wrap it back up so those roots are staying inside the bag all the time. The only time you're opening it up is when you're taking them out, counting them, and putting them in the plastic bag. So you want to be as efficient as possible, which is why we're rounding up some volunteers. Hopefully you'll at least have 2 to 4, maybe 6 volunteers showing up at each of your offices. We started recruiting those volunteers last week. We've had a number of people sign up already. So, thank you, Cynthia. Question?
What day are the volunteers coming? Sorry, Jeff.
Okay, this is Wednesday, February 22nd, noon to 5, is when we recommend that if you're gung-ho and the trees arrive from both nurseries by Tuesday the 21st, and your staff is ready to sort these trees out, I'd say don't wait for the volunteers to show up. If you're ready to go and the trees arrive earlier, and you have all of them there on hand, then I'm not going to tell you the best time to sort those out. I think you can make that call internally over there. So the other thing to do, as soon as the trees come off the truck and you determine you got the correct number, is we're going to send you cans of spray paint. And it's very important that that customers, the consumers, know that this is a redbud and this is an oak and this is a poplar, because when they get out there to their house, they're going to want to know what trees they're planting next to their house and what trees they're planting over next to the utility lines. And some won't care. They're just planting this large area on their farm. But we want them to have the luxury of knowing which trees are which. So as soon as the trees come off, we're going to send you 3 cans of spray paint, 3 different colors at each of your field offices. It's going to be part of the kit that you receive. There's going to be yellow for the yellow poplar, red is for the red oak or the shumard, and white is going to be for the American plum because they have nice white blooms. And then the red buds will not be painted because they have the most distinctive stem. It's sort of like a zigzag pattern. This is an extreme. Can you even see that? Get it close enough. That's an exaggerated look of a red bud seedling stem. And so that's the one that's the most recognizable. But even if someone can't discern it, it's going to be the only seedling, the only deciduous seedling that has no paint on it. The pines have needles, green needles. They're evergreen, right? So they will be full of needles, and they're easy to distinguish. But we're going to have you paint when the trees come off the truck, and you have them all separated by species in your storage area, well ventilated, please. We're going to send you some eco-friendly paint that won't kill the seedlings. And you're just going to spray to make sure across the tops of the bags where they first protrude out of the bag, not the very tops of the seedlings, but make sure there's enough color on each seedling. You're just going to go around the bag and spray in there so that seedling has a little bit of color on it, so the volunteers will know what they're planting out there. And so you're going to do that on the day when the trees arrive, and definitely before you break them into all the distributor packages. Because once you have all these different distributor packages, it's going to be a little bit more time consuming, but you will discover the best process when you're actually doing this out in the field. This is the first time we've done this spray painting technique for 100K Tree Day. We've done it before on some trees, and it is on a Veterans Day event we spray painted some seedlings, and it was very helpful to be able to tell the consumers that orange means your plant. Wait, was it orange? Yellow is a yellow poplar. Red is an oak, etc. So on Thursday, February 23rd, you will be ready for all those distributors to come pick up their trees. And the range, again, the smallest number of distributors, Memphis and Johnson City, are going to have 8 people come in to pick up trees. It's not a big number of folks.
That's great. That's good. That's
Yeah.
definitely manageable.
And then Nashville is 30. So over the course of 8 hours, you got 30 people coming. So it's not the mass mayhem of the old days.
And none of the field offices are going to serve as like distribution points for the public, right? We're all pretty much distributors for the distributors.
No, I understand that everyone is on Friday open to the public.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you here?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. So when you say open to the public,
And
what
then
does that
Saturday
mean?
morning.
Yeah, Saturday morning, I know that, but what does that mean?
So we have put you all down. We had thought that was the agreement. That was the understanding we had, is that each TDEC field office will be, you'll have those trees set aside. You are a distributor as well.
Oh,
So
okay. So we have our own.
You'll have your own package of, let's say, 1,000 trees. You'll have 200 of each species all set aside. You will package them just like you package them for every other distributor, and you'll set yours aside so that they're on Friday. And this is the next phase I want to